Hey, this is Alex with AFS 401k, and it's the 46th installment of Money Hacks. I'm a little embarrassed that it's taken us this long to get my colleague Jason Dahl, who's the Director of Financial Planning for AFS Financial Group, and on Twitter he's Financial Plan Man, on the show. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, glad to be here. I appreciate you throwing me a bone.
Yeah. So finally we have you here, and we're talking about insurance, and we spend a lot of time with investors and savers, and we'll talk about health insurance and HSAs, and it's probably the most prominent type of insurance that people are thinking about on a day-to-day basis, and there's a lot of decisions that have to be made there. But you're the expert to tell us about a couple of other areas in insurance and risk management that are critically important for somebody's financial life aside from health insurance.
Sure.
So why don't you get into it?
Yeah, sure. So probably the four other core areas of insurance that we get into with clients, as well as during our webinar that we'll give and seminars that we give, is life insurance, disability insurance, liability and loss, think home and auto coverage, right? As well as long-term care insurance.
Right.
And for today, I think we wanted to focus a little bit more on life and disability insurance, right? Because if you think about it, like, we're required by law to have auto coverage, right? Or if you have a mortgage, your mortgage company requires you to have homeowners insurance. Yeah. But we're not really required by law or anybody to make sure that we have the appropriate amount of life and disability insurance.
Sure.
Right? And so I think that's where a lot of people sort of run into the trap of being underinsured. Mm-hmm. I think you see it on your side, meeting with folks on the 401k front, as well as we do on the individual side. That a lot of folks are just underinsured, and they think, oh, but I have coverage through my employer, right? My employer pays.
Which is great.
Yeah, absolutely great, and it's a tremendous benefit that a lot of employers provide, both on the life and disability front. But for the vast majority of people, that's not enough.
Right.
They're going to need additional coverage, and so whether it be life insurance. That employer coverage is usually 1 to 2 or maybe 3 times your salary. Right. And if I'm 42 years old, if I expect to work another 20, 25 years, 3 times my salary, okay, great. That'll replace 3 years of that lost income.
Not enough for your family if you're not around.
Absolutely, right? Yep. So great if I have 3 times my salary covered by my employer, but I need to go get additional coverage. And a lot of employers will offer you the option to buy more through the group plan. Or you can go out and buy it, shop it in the private marketplace. And it's worthwhile comparing the two to see what's better off. Typically, if you're in better than average health, you're going to be better off going out and shopping for it on the outside, because the group plan sort of assumes everyone is of the same health.
Okay.
Right?
Interesting.
Yeah. And so if you're sort of below average health, you may end up finding out that you're going to get better rates through the group plan, right? So worth comparing.
And with life insurance, there's predominantly a couple different types that people are always trying to figure out which type they want to get.
Right. There's permanent or term or temporary insurance, right? I sort of like to call term insurance is like renting the insurance, and then you have permanent insurance that you're buying, in essence, right? The most important point is don't get stuck in what I like to call analysis paralysis, right? The most important point, if you could take one away today, is that make sure you go get enough coverage for you today and in the foreseeable future to protect your family, right?
Got it.
And for a lot of people, that's going to be simply term insurance. It's almost always the lowest cost version, and it's just the simplest, because you're going to say, hey, I need to cover a 20-year period, a 25-year period, a 30-year period, right? You just determine the term length, and then the amount of coverage, $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, right? It all depends on your individual needs, right? And those are really the 2 primary variables to look at. And then obviously you got to check out, hey, what's that annual premium? Can I afford it, right? And can I afford it today and in the future, right? And so for most people, go get that term policy in force, and then you can always supplement it by buying a permanent policy. Yep.
Disability is just as important, though, right?
Absolutely, right? And perhaps I've been known to say that it's even more important, but let's just say they're both important. And the reason why I sometimes say it's more important, because if you think about it, just to be blunt, right? If I die, my income's gone, I'm no longer around. I'm not an expense to my household. But if I'm permanently disabled and my income's gone because of that disability, I'm still around. I'm still an expense, right? And so that income is that much more important, right? And so really similar to life insurance, right? A lot of employers will provide coverage. One important thing to note is if the employer is paying for the premiums and you go out on claim and you start receiving benefits, those benefits will be taxable to you, right? So you need to sort of net out Uncle Sam's portion of that. Whereas if you go out and complement that coverage by buying your own in the private marketplace, and then you go out on claim, those benefits to you will be tax-free.
Okay.
Right? So you got to always sort of think after tax, what's the total amount, and is it an appropriate amount for you?
Understood. And so just working with somebody who's a professional, who's an expert in insurance, and knows your financial picture is key, so they can help you navigate what type of coverage, how much you need, and how it's going to work in your overall financial picture.
Yep. You want to work with somebody who fits sort of both of those criteria.
Awesome.
Right? They know the products, right? They know insurance, but perhaps even more importantly, they know you. They know what you're going to be able to afford, how much coverage you're going to need, what's the right type of coverage, right? And then place you in where you need to be.
So Jason and his team are going to be doing a webinar here in a couple of weeks. We'll shoot out some of the promo materials for that. I hope this video has been a great way for you to learn a couple of things on life insurance and disability insurance, and that Jason's 42 and my phone actually rings when people call me. So see you next time. Thanks for joining Money Hacks. Take care.
All right, thanks.